Okay, so the objects that we're going to be controlling with this particular controller are the two front wheels. So let's turn off visibility on everything else and check our wheel group. If I select on it and then my up arrow, it takes me to the top node. So this is the front left wheel group, and I'm going to be repositioning these pivots because you need to have the pivot set. Let's go to front view at the location where it's actually, the object is actually going to pivot, and it's not in the center of the tire. I don't have an axle for this vehicle to show you, but the axle comes in to this location and the wheel is placed on the axle, and it's not in the center, it's off to one side. So you can probably Google schematics to see how that's done. Some of you have done a lot of studies in your drawings lessons, and you know how this stuff works. So what I'm going to do is simply offset that a little bit so I've rigged enough vehicles to know kind of where that is. So what I'm going to do is just hold down D on my keyboard, and along this one axis I'm going to just position that, and I'm going to line it up. D on my keyboard, X, just controlling this one axis. I'm going to just snap to the grid. It's the best thing because I need to do that with all 4 tires, and it needs to be accurate for rigging. So I'll use my grid in this case because I don't have an object there yet, and go ahead and position all of those pivot points accordingly. Alright, so I've gone ahead and reset the pivot points. Okay, now let's go ahead and wire in these tires with a constraint. So I'm going to select the controller first and then come up here to front, right, either one, and control click that one, and spacebar, constraint. I'm going to set an orient constraint, and best practice, reset those settings, maintain offset, and I'm going to lock down the constraint axes that I don't need. So if I want to, this is going to be a rotational value, so if I want to rotate this way around the Y, yes, I'm not going to want to do this, and I do want to do this. So this is around the X and the Y, but I don't need Z unless I'm going to break a tire there. So let's go ahead and select those, say add, and do the same with the other front wheel. Orient, same, and add. Alright, so now if we come in here and rotate our control, you can see the tires are rotating with that. Now this controller is a dual purpose controller, but we won't need steering for the back tires, so I'm going to go ahead and create a different kind of a controller. I'm going to select one that's right back here and just duplicate that. Select on this object and go ahead and delete history on that. And actually, let's scale it down so it's not the same size, so it's not confused. I'm going to move that in. Typically what this is used for is just rotating the back tires. So, and that's 2 keyframes usually, and then it's not touched again after that. So it can be a small controller set inside the body a little bit. And so once that's done, we'll go ahead, delete history, freeze the transforms on it, so we've got all zeros in here. Splitting the scale, and we're going to use this now to rotate the back tires. Okay, so I'm going to wire this in the same way that I did the front, excluding the steering. So I've got my control selected. I'm going to go right up here and control select one of the back tires. Space bar, constraint, orient. And I don't need it to rotate around the Y, so I'm going to uncheck that and add that. So now when I rotate that object, it's going to rotate my tire. Alright, put that back to 0. I've got my controller selected, and I'm going to go do that with the other back tire, back right. And I'm going to spacebar, constraint, orient, and do the same thing. Alright, now I just need one rotation controller back here for both tires. You can see they're both rotating now. Because they rotate typically together as the axle is driven. Alright, so I've got my controllers set for the back rotation, and this is a rotational value for steering.